Hello everyone, in previous videos we saw how we connected to Jaeger, Zipkin and Tempo directly from Otel Java agent. Now we are going to put our Otel collectors in between. By that we can reduce the dependencies from our service perspective and take advantage of collectors like retries, batching, descriptions, etc. We also tag our service to distinguish them in the data lake of telemetry data. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. At the moment, we are sending tracing data to Jaeger using Jaeger exporter through this endpoint and Zipkin through Zipkin exporter and this endpoint. For Tempo, since Tempo support OTLP natively, so we can use OTLP exporter, and by that, this is the endpoint for OTLP traces endpoint. For your information, Jaeger now supports OTLP natively. Maybe in future this Jaeger type here and this endpoint are going to be deprecated. So currently we only need to send tracing data to Otel collectors, and of course Otel collector supports OTLP, so we can use OTLP exporter here. Let's remove Jaeger and Zipkin. And OTLP traces endpoint is going to be now a collector. So our service no longer depend on Jaeger, Zipkin and Tempo anymore. Let's move it to the collector. Jaeger collector. Okay. That's good. Okay, now we only send traces data using the OTLP exporters and only to the Otel collector. Okay, the next thing, let's go ahead to the Otel collector configuration file. So we are going to add more 3 exporters here. One for Jaeger, one for Zipkin, and one for Tempo. For Jaeger, this is basic declaration for Jaeger exporter. The endpoint will be the same from our Java Agent SDK configuration. Jaeger. So this should be the endpoint. So you may see this exporter already before. Actually, we used it in our Spring Boot micrometer series when we using Otel collector version 0.82.0. So this is our hello server of the micrometer series. So you can see here this is our Otel collector at that time. The version is 0.82.0. And at the moment, we are using version 0.91.0. So this Jaeger exporter is no longer available. You will see here, so from version 95, the Jaeger exporter and Jaeger trip HTTP exporters are deprecated. Jaeger has supported for OTLP. Then we can use the OTLP exporter to send trace data to Jaeger, and the default port for OTLP gRPC in Jaeger is 4317 as well, the same in Otel collector. Okay, so now it's going to be the OTLP Jaeger, and the port is 4317. So this one is deprecated, and we have to update our Jaeger as well. Jaeger here, so we no longer need to expose this port. Instead, we expose 4317. Okay. The next one will be Zipkin exporter to send traces data to Zipkin. So for Zipkins, we are going to use Zipkin exporter. So the endpoint is as the Java Agent SDK configurations as well. Then so this is Zipkin endpoint. I'm going to copy it, and then okay. For Zipkin configurations, you can take a look at this link. So this is our Zipkin exported. We're going to have endpoint, the format, default extension, and now we change it to Roto. Okay, so for Tempo, as we already know, Tempo also support OTLP natively, so it is the same. So we can use OTLP exported to send our trace data to Tempo. And Tempo also export port at 4317. Tempo. So we can send traces data to this port. Back. So, but since we have two OTLP exporters, so now we have to distinguish by name. We need to add a name, sorry. So this one name is Jaeger, and this one is Temple. So this OTLP types name Jaeger exporter and OTLP type exporter name Temple. That's good. It's time to add them to our pipeline. So we have log. Now we're going to have traces. And in traces, receivers, we receive from Otel collector, the Otel collector itself, the receiver, Otel gRPC. See, we also send traces data to Otel gRPC protocol at port 4317. So that's why data will move from receiver OTLP to traces. We have Jaeger. Would like to send data to Jaeger, Zipkin, and Temple. Okay, Temple. Okay, that's good. This time, let's introduce batch processor. It's very helpful, especially in production, I think. So, in order to use batching feature of Otel collectors, we just simply need to add processor, and in that, we're going to define our batch processor here. Then we only need to append it into our pipeline processor. So for trace, we now have receiver, processor, and exporters. And processors now is our batch processor. Here, batch processor. I'll do the same thing for log pipeline as well. Okay, so let's take a look at Datadog, for example. So this is the Datadog. So we are going to set OpenTelemetry for Datadog. Let's say Datadog is our backend observability. Okay. Collector, and let's see how we can use a batch in Datadog. Okay, so this is the batch processors is used to in Datadog. For example, Datadog APM service intake limit is 3.2 megabyte. So if the telemetry data is over than that, it could run into error. So that's why we need to limit the data send and also batch the data send to improve the number of requests we're going to send. So that's why we have to have batch processor here, and I'm going to copy this one. Batch processor. So we have send batch mask size, send batch size, and timeout. So basically, send batch size is just like a trigger, right? Here's we're going to have batch processor. We have send batch size. So send batch size as a trigger, So it's not really the maximum, the upper limit batch size, just a triggered. So uh, when our data in the buffer over then the batch size here, so it will be sent. Okay, and this is the same batch mask size. This is the actual batch size, so the upper limit of the batch size. Okay, so let's give them an example. So for example, currently in the buffer we have 15 records, right? So it's not enough the batch size, so it haven't been sent. Then we're going to have like 800 records coming. And then now it's larger than 100, the batch size here. So it will be triggered a request, for example, to send data. And because this number of data is less than the batch size, the real batch size 100, so it's only send one request, for example, one request. Let's take another example. We have in the current we have 50, still have 15 in the buffer, and then it's also triggered because it's larger than 100, so it's also triggered sending data to exporter, right? But now it's going to send, because it's larger than the batch size, so now it's going to send two batch. One batch is 1000 and another batch is 50. Another condition is the timeout. So basically it will be sent. So if the buffer is not enough 1000, so it will be sent when it reaches 10 seconds. That's it. Okay, simple enough, right? So again, you can take a look at the documentation here. Okay, so now we have trace by light, log by light. Let's spin up our infrastructures, compose -d, and we're going to check our triggered localhost 166. We're going to send some data. Localhost order 1, order 3, then triggered, refresh it. Okay, we find some data in triggered as well. That's good. Okay, let's check our Zipkin. Localhost 9411 Zipkin. We're going to have some data as well. Okay, that's good. Last thing, let's check our reference to make sure everything works as expected. Admin. Here we are going to check remitted data source, remitted, right? Explore, so we should check HTTP bucket, remitted. I would like to see exam alert. Okay, to exam alert, query with temple, and so temple work correctly, and in temple I would like to see the log in log key. Okay, so everything works as it is. Now let's do the last thing, integrate Jaeger and Zipkin to Referner as well. So we only have one gateway to see anything, right? Okay, let's go to data source and add a new data source. This time it's the Jaeger. So now we need to provide Jaeger HTTP Jaeger 166A6. Then we're going to have trace to log feature as well. Okay, that time let's try to log key 1 minute hour, 1 hour. Okay, 7 test. Explore data. So in Jaeger we also have other service. Ordinary, the data is here, but we don't see the link to log button here. Okay, let's take a look at these attributes. So we have attribute here's arrows. We couldn't find any like any attribute that have the service name, right? So even in resource attribute, okay. So we are not going to map it into our job in log key. Let's back to our template, search, service ordered. So in template, here's, for example, we have this button lock for this span, right? Because in template, we can have the attribute name, service name, and this service name, for example, orders, ordered. So that's why we can map the service name to the job in log key to find all related log. So that's why when you click log here, you see, so we'll map the service name to job. So in template it's service name, in log key it's a job, and for in data source or templates, we map service name to job, but we couldn't find any field, similar field had the service name in Jaeger. So for example, in Jaeger we couldn't find ordered, queried. So the attributes, there's no fields like service name. So that's why we have to provide this service name in this attribute field. So it leads us to one important thing: tag our service. To do that with OpenTelemetry Java agent, we simply need to provide our tags through the Otel resource attributes here. Be sure that we don't tag our service.name because it's useless, because we already have the service Otel service name here. So this one will take precedence. So let's use this one, and back to our Docker post. So we are now tag our service, and so we use service ordered service. So instead of have service name here, because it didn't show in the span of Jaeger, then we're going to have another tag. We name it service, order service as well. And let's say we're going to have another environment, and in depth. So in production, you will have to have a lot of things to add here. For example, the region, the instance ID, for example. But for the sake of simplicity, just keep it simple like that. Okay, then let's restart. Oh, oops, -d. Okay, so again, let's generate some data. Okay, and send some arrow. And in here, let's go to reference again, admin, skip, and okay, data source. This time I would like to add Jaeger as well. So http Jaeger 166.86 and log key -1 hours, 1 hour. Okay, case slot data, search, order service, run query, and okay, we still didn't see the link to log here, but I hope we're going to see our service name here. Resource attribute. Okay, we have service tag, and this is our service tag value. We also have the environment depth. Okay, that is what we expected. Okay, then we can based on this one and setting our span to lock again. Then data source triggered, going to have serve it, and I would like the same thing in job, right? Okay, save, explore data, back, order serve it, run where it. Okay, we have lock here. Close this one. So triggered. Okay, that's what I expected. Let's do the same thing for Zipkin. Data source, we're going to add Zipkin. So 9411, right? HTTP Zipkin 9411 and lock key minus 1 hour, 1 hour, and also we have serve it and serve it at job, save, test, and explore updated. So I've traced order serve it. Okay, this is for Zipkin. And if we check, so in Zipkin, the tag will be in span attribute. So if you remember in Jaeger, the service tag in resource attribute, right? But in Zipkin, it's going to be span attribute. So we have environment tag here, so it's a dev. And where's our service? Okay, and service here is all the service as well. But basically, it's attribute of the span. Okay, and that's why we have this logs for the span. Let's click it. Okay, it's what as expected, like in Jaeger. Okay, as usual, we're going to add is to our reference data sources. So now we're going to have Jaeger data source, service map service to job, and Zipkin data source. We are going to map service to job as well. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's test it the last time. So we're going to generate some data. Error. And so mint, skip. Then we go to data source. Okay, now have Jaeger, Lockheed, Prometheus, Temple, Zipkin, explore data. So order data, get ordered. Okay, find another one. Okay, log here. Go to see log. That's good. Zipkin. How about Jaeger? Search. Serve it. Order serve it. Okay. Let's click clock. Okay. That's it for the video. We will end this video here. Thank you so much for taking your time watching this video and this series. Hope you can learn something new here and see you in the next video. Happy coding!